Welcome in to another episode of Why So Sidious, a nerd podcast. I'm your host, David, and here with me are my co-hosts, Jeremy and Caleb, and we have a special guest returning for, I don't know, the fourth, fifth, sixth time, who can count by now, Mr. Cody Schneider, who always joins us on some Star Wars topics. So, Cody, thank you for joining us here today.
Oh, yeah. Pleasure to be here, boys.
Beautiful. Well, it's fun to have you back. We're going to dive into that galaxy far, far away soon enough here. We've got a fun Star Wars heavy episode planned. Our main topic is going to be kind of putting together our ideal future of Star Wars. We're going to be given our list for what we would rather see rather than what the future catalog has to offer. We're getting in the driver's seat, determine what next 3 movies, 3 series, and 3 comic books or just books, novels, classical books we would rather see instead of what we have coming. So some of it may be realistic, some of it may be long shots, but we wanted to have a little fun with it and see just exactly what it is that Star Wars fans really want to see, So before we jump into that, as always, follow us on the socials, TikTok, X, Instagram. We're getting a little bit more active on the Instagram there. So if you've been following us on there and you're like, man, this guy who runs it's super cool, but he just died the last 6 months, the activity is going to be kicking back up. So don't you worry. We got more stuff coming there. We got a big announcement coming up soon. So stay tuned for that. It will be coming in about a couple weeks here, a week and a half. So stay tuned. Big things are coming to Why So Sidious. And be sure to be checking out all of our new content. We've got a couple of Weekend Geeks out there. The most recent one talking about Avengers 5, of course, because that's a major piece coming up. DCU Man of Tomorrow, the 2027 DCU movie that was just unveiled. Star Wars Starfighter with its star-studded cast. We go over all that. We got an Avengers Doomsday episode. New 52 Batman and Robin comic review featuring Yoo-Hoo Comic Review, who's been a returning guest for us as well. So we got a lot of stuff out there. Go ahead and check it out. Start pumping those numbers up. All right, so let's get into this episode. But before we jump into the main dish, what do you guys think are some of the hottest Star Wars takes that are guaranteed to start a debate? Lub, you got something for us?
I do. I have some controversies, conspiracy theories, plot holes, and retcons. I did see this on the internet, and then I kind of moved things around, made it a little better. So this is a tier-based list. I'm just going to name or go through each tier and just whatever comes to mind, whichever one you think is the most controversial, most thought-provoking, whichever you want to talk about. We can talk about all of them too. So on the C tier, we have Leia remembering Padme. She claims to remember her real mother, but Padme died right after childbirth. Was this a plot hole or a sign of Leia's Force sensitivity? And we have Qui-Gon versus the Jedi Council. Qui-Gon's philosophy of the living Force was in direct conflict with the rigid Jedi dogma. If the Council had listened to him, would the Jedi have survived? And then we have the droid free will rights with R2 and C-3PO clearly having personalities and emotions, but their memories are wiped at will. Is this galaxy guilty of droid slavery? So, I don't know, Dave, what are you thinking about that?
I mean, I'll rapid fire that. I think the Force thing is a good explanation for the Leia thing, even though it felt like a plot hole. But Force intuition, after reading Dune and where somebody in the womb can literally recover memories from this crazy type of connection, it's not hard for me to believe the Force could do something like that.
No connection between Dune and Star Wars.
Yeah, no similarities between those two stories. So no reason to take one thing from another. I think, Order probably would have survived if they listened to Qui-Gon. What was the last one there?
Droid free will.
Oh, I mean, they do make them into people in the universe, so it does kind of seem messed up, but yeah, it's probably a little screwed up. None of them are like crazy hot takes, but I could see either side to all those.
I think the Qui-Gon one is your S tier for me. That's my favorite. That's the coolest one to dive into.
Okay.
Padme, Leia, whatever. The droid thing I like a lot because Deus Machina. And then recently we're revisiting that kind of a thing with Alien Earth. So I really like that. But it's still low on the list because I think there's a solid argument for saying they don't have a soul. They're not sentient. It's just very complex, binary zeros and ones and stuff. And they just mimic sentience in a way. But I could also see the other argument where it's like in Deus Machina when she's like hammering her fists off to get out of this cage. She doesn't want to be in there. At that point, you're like, she really kind of seems like she has a soul.
I got to rewatch that movie.
I think it's just one of the more interesting sci-fi arguments. So I like that one, but Qui-Gon on top, baby.
Yeah. Cody?
No, I fully agree with JD. I think I don't know. I think there's some kind of there's got to be like an AI aspect to the droids, right? Because I think the droids, the more they spend with their their owners, so to speak, they start to bring out parts of that personality. Especially R2D2. Like he's not just a droid. Like that's a homie. That's like a day one. So you can tell that he's like he reads into intuition. He really makes some choices based on feel. So he's got to have a little I don't know, maybe he's Grok powered or something. I don't know.
Maybe Grok like 12.0 or something at this point. He skipped the racist part and then it kept going on to the better versions until it got to R2. I mean, the dude does make whining, sad noises, so you do kind of feel for him at points there. You can express emotion.
Right? Pain.
Yeah, no, I think that is low key kind of a banger discussion to have, the whole droid free will thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Yeah,
so
I don't know if they're all unracist though. I mean, we all watched what Chopper did, so.
Oh, Chopper's for sure racist, but that's another story.
All right, the B tier. We have Luke's Force choke in the beginning of Return of the Jedi. Not just the Force choke, but his all-black outfit, the way he loses his cool against Vader, and even the Emperor's temptation. He's way closer to becoming Vader 2.0 than people usually acknowledge. And then we have Yoda's bad advice to Anakin. Yoda basically told him, just let go of Padme's death instead of giving him any real tools to handle grief. Was a Jedi Order's philosophy partly to blame for Anakin's fall? Probably. And then we have Saw Gerrera's methods, Rogue One and Rebels. The rebellion points itself as good, but Saw shows the darker truth. Sometimes freedom fighters are indistinguishable from terrorists. JD?
The Order ruining Anakin is one of my favorites ever. Yeah. It doesn't seem right to rip him from mom and just, like no tools for grief. Just move on. Let's keep training. Forget about all this stuff that you deeply care about. Like just straight up seems like a path to the dark side pretty directly. And it seemed like they might have not done him so well there. But you gave us the list before. I thought we were about to separate those into tiers, but you're about to go up on tiers. Mm-hmm. And I could feel it. All those are really good. Especially ruining Anakin. Thanks a lot.
I feel like that Force choke isn't talked about a lot too, where he just comes into the Jabba's castle at the beginning of Return of the Jedi and the all black new lightsaber Force choke. It's like they definitely did it on purpose, and it's a really cool call from George Lucas to kind of think, oh wow, is Luke going to be turned? Because that's the whole temptation of that movie is him replacing Vader at Palpatine's side.
Right. And I think if it wasn't if they went a little bit darker with it, they could have leaned into that theme more of, is he going to fall to the dark side? I see, looking back on it now, I can see, okay, yeah, he was pretty close. But when I watched it growing up, at no point was I like, oh, Luke's about to turn. I never once thought that was going to happen when I was watching it. But the Force choke's a little red flag there, but I like it. I think he was closer than everybody thinks to being the coolest character in Star Wars at that point. But
right. And Saw Gerrera, I mean, after watching Andor, it was kind of just you had to get shit done that way. But we also saw that Saw kind of had a different approach than Mon Mothma and even what's the Skarsgård? I forgot his name. Luthen.
Yeah, he's a maniac, but you need a couple maniacs to win a war that you're outgunned, outnumbered, going against a much larger force. You need a few maniacs, and he was a maniac, and he did help in a lot of places. I'm pretty sure he moved pieces on the board a good amount in the whole rebellion thing, and he probably got some innocent people killed, or not probably, for sure, probably like thousands. But yeah, you got to have a maniac sometimes.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna go to the A tier now. Mace Windu versus Palpatine. Was he right to break Jedi code in the name of stopping evil? Or did that prove that the Jedi had become corrupt and hypocritical? Jedi, as Clone War generals, they become warriors leading soldiers bred to die instead of peacekeepers. Did the Jedi essentially lose their way long before Order 66? And then Obi-Wan leaving Anakin to burn. He didn't finish Anakin off. He left him to suffer. Was that mercy or cruelty, or maybe Obi-Wan's inability to let go? Cody?
Ooh, yeah.
Which one comes to mind the most?
Um, I think they're all kind of related really closely because I mean, it's they're all really good examples of the Jedi losing their way, and I think the one, the Obi-Wan one has bothered me for a long time. Like that's you're my brother. I loved you. Burn. Like,
Right.
ooh, all right. Yeah, you think you'd give him more of like a mercy killing instead of just like letting him suffer like that. So that one is not sat right with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just having the Jedis as generals in the army was obviously like a really bad mistake. Kind of showed where the Jedi were going, and having Mace Windu on top of it, we have to kill him. Like, no, it's not the Jedi way. Anakin was kind of right. Like that's 50, 100 years ago. That's not what would have happened at all. That's not how the Jedi would have handled things. And now, they really showed. I think that was such a good job by, the whole Lucas staff, like Star Wars, showing that like they had become legit corrupt, and they had lost their way for sure. So, yeah, those are all tough ones, man. That's a good list there.
Yeah. I think the Obi-Wan is probably the top for me, just because, yeah, same thing. You're just talking trash, screaming at him about what a disappointment he is. She's burning alive, and then he just walked off. Like, you knew he was still alive. You could feel the Force. He didn't feel him die. He knew he was still alive, and he just walked off. Like, give him a little push, a little Force push into the lava. Just
or just a lightsaber to the head. Just
which I have to imagine that would be insanely hard to do, to go up and lightsaber. But God, man, just do a Force push and turn around, or so get it over with. I don't know, man. Yeah, that one is a tough one to justify. So that one's the top for me.
The Jedi one is the best to consider there. Did they lose their way? But like, do you really not kill Palpatine in that moment? I mean, you fix the galaxy if you do. So they might have lost their way that whole time, but maybe in that moment for Mace Windu, probably give him a pass. Probably give him a pass for taking out Palpatine,
right?
Because he's control of everything, has too much power and influence. But the lore of the Jedi in the past, I don't know about the whole losing their way thing. They let Anakin down. They let a Sith like under their nose just work everything, like for 3 movies straight. They were just completely being manipulated, 100%. They were never ahead of Palpatine one step, not even a little bit. So that was a little incompetent as well.
Yeah, pretty rough.
All right, now finally the S tier. There's only 2 in this one. We have Luke almost killing Ben Solo in The Last Jedi. This is a big one, pretty self-explanatory. And then we have Vader's redemption in seconds in Return of the Jedi. He massacred children, enslaved the galaxy, tortured Leia, cut off Luke's hand, and yet one good act redeems him. Is it too easy, or the ultimate Star Wars message of hope?
Ooh. That's a pretty easy redemption.
Right? I know you never really think about that. It's kind of like, okay, Vader always had the good in him. We knew it. But like as a galaxy or as people around them are probably like, oh, no one really knew.
Well, like, for whatever reason, he had to bring the balance, and he could just do the whole Force thing where everything had to happen the way it did in order for them to be able to kill Palpatine at the end of Return
Doctor
of the
Strange.
Jedi. Yeah, how I always read it anyway. But I never looked at it like that. All the bad he did. Well, even in like Attack of the Clones, he murdered women and children and all this stuff, and he just got a pass for that too. Right back on his missions.
They weren't human.
Yeah, they were just sand people.
No, that's a scene I wanted to actually see play out. After you see what they did to his mom, you really wish you could just see that scene play out. Would have been cool.
I always thought it'd be interesting if Vader survived and to like read just a short story on how people would respond to that. Like Luke's like, look, he's on our side. He's brought back. And everybody's like, I don't think we want this guy around, Luke. I know he's your dad, but no, he's good now. He turned a new leaf. Yeah. Be interesting to see how the Republic or the rebellion at that point would have taken to a Vader who survived on their side.
Like you see a Vader in the white AI suit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty badass looking, I gotta say.
That's what'll turn Luke to the dark side. He's like, "This is my dad. He's my guy, but we're kind of leading the thing together." And everyone's like, "No, I don't know about this." And he's like, "We're doing it anyway." And all of a sudden, it just gets darker. And then they rule the galaxy as father
There
and
it
son.
is.
And Vader's dark again too.
It's all a circle. Time's a circle.
I know none of us are big Last Jedi fans. Cody, you're not a big Last Jedi fan? No? Okay, just making sure. So
No.
Luke almost killing Ben, it's I mean, there's the three different versions of
Terrible.
the story, but like it's so dumb. It doesn't make sense to me. If Luke, we talk about his dad was redeemed, he saw the good in his dad the entire time. They fought him, but didn't just try and murder him in his sleep. And then you have this adolescent boy who's obviously had a pretty troubled life so far with his, parents divorced. He's the grandson of Vader. Like, maybe give this kid some fucking help instead of fucking killing him in his sleep.
That's like what people feel about Superman killing Zod and Man of Steel, which I was fine with it. That's how I felt about this. I was like, that's
Okay.
not Luke. He wouldn't do that. He would find a
Right.
way to help, not just like you said, murder him. We tried. We failed. Better luck next time.
Yeah, and this is older, wiser Luke who has literally overcame the temptation of the Emperor and started his own Jedi Academy and like has gone through all these years and experience, and now he's just kill a kid because he had a bad dream. Like, what the hell are we doing? It's just terrible. To me, there's no excusing that. No matter how many ways they put it, there's no excusing that. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I think, and I think it's been tainted a little bit for me because I've read so many like legends, like non-canon books about Luke, and you really see like, and again, they're not canon, but you
Kinda.
see like how good Luke is, like in so many different situations, like how many, as he's rebuilding the Jedi Order and he's having to fight like, Sith of the past and all this stuff. You're like, man, how could this happen? Like he is the epitome of like good.
Right.
And I think that's what really, I don't want to get hung up on Last Jedi too much, but
Yeah,
yeah,
trying to have a
that
good
one,
time.
yeah, whatever. Like, but I can see from the other one too, like about Vader, getting redeemed in about 45 seconds. I always saw it as like he had the good in him. Luke saw it. Like, yeah, he spent 20 years basically terrorizing an entire galaxy, but I think he really saw that he was basically a puppet, and he was under control. He was in constant agony with that suit. Like he knew that he was basically just a toy for the Emperor, and so I can see that. I don't think, for me, there's not as much of a discussion there, but the Luke thing, man, no.
Yeah. Yep.
Nope.
I agree.
Agreed.
That's the worst thing in Star Wars. Coming back, you finally get to see Luke on the big screen, and that's what they did to him after waiting 20 years. So, yeah, again, won't go into that too deep there, but yeah, I think that's one of the worst things that's ever been done in Star Wars.
Do you guys agree? Did we miss any hot takes? Let us know in the comments or anywhere else. Send us a DM. Let us know what you thought.
All right. Well, let's roll into our Star Wars roadmap then. So like I said, we each got 3 movies. You can do a trilogy if you want. Doesn't have to be a trilogy. You could just do 3 standalones, 3 TV shows, and 3 comic books or books. So I wanted to ask you guys. Probably should have talked about this beforehand, but what would you prefer to do it? Would you prefer each of us do all of our lists, or would you prefer we start and we do our comic book and books first to go down the line, and then we go to series and then movies? You want to do that? I see one head nod. Okay.
Go with whatever.
All right, let's do that then. We'll start off with the comic books and books, and then we'll just each do our 3 one at a time there. So, Cody, since you are our guest here, why don't you go ahead and start us off? Give us the 3 books or comic books that you would like to see in Star Wars coming up.
All right. Well, I had a tough time with this list because there's so much content out there, and I spend a lot of time in the car listening to audiobooks. And so I'm at, I don't know, 27, 28 audiobooks so far for Star Wars. And, some of them have been bangers, some of them not quite so much. So I mean, looking through, like I was going through the master list and kind of checking off the ones that I have read already, and there's just not a. I didn't have a ton that I wanted to see that it isn't something that I could already, jump at. There's hundreds. So, as far as eras, I don't know a whole lot about the Old Republic, and so I really wanted to go back Old Republic era and get some more novels that way. I played a little bit of the video games back in the day, so I think I want more content going way back.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's kind of my, I have no interest in the future, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it was botched so bad that I want to kind of get out of the Ray era, especially with, I mean, they could probably do it better book version than they have done, screen versions.
Right.
The Rise of Skywalker book's pretty good compared to the movie.
Oh, I read the Force Awakens book and I was so excited, and it's literally just like they took the screenplay and put it in a novel. I don't know if you guys have read the Revenge of the Sith book. It's excellent.
Yes.
It's so good. One of my top 5 for sure. And so I was like, oh, maybe they can fix the Force Awakens, and literally just they took the script and put it into a novel, and it was
the exact thing.
They fixed Rise a little bit though. You get like the
A little bit.
Kylo on Dathomir, isn't that where he's at, or wherever he is in the beginning of the movie? Or
I think he's on Mustafar.
Mustafar,
isn't he?
right? Mustafar, yeah.
Yeah.
You actually get a reason why he's there and what he's actually doing there. There's Palpatine's on Exegol and stuff, so it does try to explain what's going on.
Right.
Especially with its prequel Shadows of the Sith.
Oh, I never finished that.
Me neither. That's over it.
Oh, I got through it.
Not good.
Not very good.
It actually ended really well. I won't give too much away.
All right.
It picked up for sure at the end, but yeah, it was slow. It was a slow start for sure.
It is a slow start.
Well, I thought the beginning was okay. I was like, oh, that's why the dagger's there. Oh, that's why Lando was there. Oh, Palpatine was getting people's heads before this. So like I kind of liked some of that, but then it just dragged on, and I was like, whatever.
Yeah. Fair enough. So Cody, do you have any specific Old Republic books, or you just would want to see some books coming out of the Old Republic?
Just more books out of the Old Republic. I mean, that whole age of, Sith versus Jedi, big battles, that Bane era, especially. I want to see more of that, like even pre-Bane with Khan and, how they kind
Revan.
of, and Revan, how they built up the armies, all that.
Revan
kind of
was
stuff.
post-Bane,
No,
wasn't he?
no, Bane's after all they're all wiped out.
Because he finds Revan's holocron.
That's after the events of the Old Republic games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought he was like way one of the first few Sith, but okay, wow.
No, because he wants to bring the rule of 2 back because there were so many Sith running around. He wants to decide.
He didn't create it from the get-go.
He did, but he got it from he got the idea from these holocrons.
Yeah.
Of so it wasn't an original idea of his. He just saw that back in the day when the Sith were so powerful, this is what they were doing, and now they've gotten so weak and watered down that he needs to bring the strength of the Sith back by bringing back the old ways.
Interesting. Cool.
Yeah. Because I think he's like 2,000 years after Revan. I think he's around like 1,000 BBY, and Revan was in like 3,200 or something.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but all right, I like it. Lub, books, comics. What do you got?
Well, I don't know how to read, so we're gonna do some audiobooks here.
Oh, yeah, audiobooks.
Right.
Okay, that's right. You got voice casts.
Andy Serkis.
I got one, The Last Clone. So it's post Return of the Jedi, and it's like the last surviving clone out there trying to live his life as like a normal person, or just like struggling with his identity in a New Republic era. Maybe, I don't know. It'd be like kind of a dark, kind of like slow,
Gritty.
Maybe he interacts with some character and that gets him involved in this wider story where he has to like save somebody or something with his last mission. I don't know, but he's the last clone. It'd be cool.
That is interesting. Yeah,
I like it. All right. The last clone.
It's
Got a
just
title on
record.
everything. Yeah. He's the only one holding it down still.
It's a
All
giant
right.
old man.
Lost Padawans, right after Order 66, just like a group of Padawans scattered across the galaxy or something.
I kind of like that too, actually. Has that been done?
I
I don't think so.
These are good titles too.
Yeah, I'm seeing a pattern with Lost and Last and
Right.
the Last.
And then the third one,
The
I don't
least Sith. Sorry.
I don't have a title for this one, but it's like maybe like a Han Solo type character has like a gambling debt that he needs to pay off or something, and then he like has to go on like a heist to get the money back or something. We get kind of like a Ocean's 11 Star Wars kind of thing.
Okay.
I don't know.
As a book, okay.
As
Is
a
that
book,
what you
yeah.
said? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Those are my three.
Okay. All right. I like them. JD,
That's solid.
what do you got for us?
All right, 2 books, 1 comic. The comic, it's funny, we brought it up earlier, and I said, what if Luke and Vader beat the Emperor without Vader sacrificing himself? So father and son post Return of the Jedi.
Nice.
Yeah, and I imagined Vader being like, yeah, he's on the light side, but very Batman-esque. Like he's super stern and just serious and
Outing
still
still.
very smart. Yeah, he's not exactly like a happy guy anymore, but he would be that kind of guy. So watching them train a new generation, I think would be super cool.
That'd be dope.
And then you just need some kind of militia rising and then just obliterating them. That'd be sick. See them dominate as father and son, and in a good way, not empire.
Satisfying.
What is it? It's the New Republic, but they had a different name for it. It was like,
After the Empire fell?
yeah,
I think it was just the New Republic.
yeah. Again, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, and then. So my 2 books, I want a Qui-Gon origin and a Mace Windu origin, because we don't actually have like a quintessential from the beginning book for either of them. I think it'd be cool to tie the books together a lot too, because Mace Windu is 8 years older than Qui-Gon. No, Qui-Gon, yeah, he's 8 years older than Qui-Gon. So they would be teaming up, they would be on the council together, training together. And you could do the books like, I just want to have the writers team up and do a story based on 2 books. So Qui-Gon would be first, and then he'd end up on the council. Then the Mace Windu book would go through his origin and then kind of pick up where the Qui-Gon book left off. And that'd be fun. We don't have an origin for those characters, and I think that'd be nice.
Yeah.
I'd want to personally read that.
Might as well make it a trilogy with the team up book as the third one. You get your Mace, your Qui-Gon, and the third one is Mace and Qui-Gon.
Well, I was limited from the studios. They said I could only do 2 books.
Contract didn't have that many projects left.
Right.
So back off. All right. I'd read that too for sure. Background stories on both of those characters. I'm absolutely there for it. So any more content with Qui-Gon is welcome. Okay. Well, I am the least excited about this section of my picks. So I also have 2 books and a comic book. And you guys probably would be surprised at the comic series. So I guess we'll start off with that one. The Stranger, following the rise of Khmer and his relationship with Plagueis, leading into where we find them in the Acolyte and possibly moving forward. But it's actually done in a cool way. So I think that was a cool character they created. And I am somewhat curious about how Plagueis is involved with all of this and if he was training him and all that stuff. So
He was just creeping.
let's fix the Peeping Tom or whatever the hell in the bushes over there and bring Plagueis out and actually get a story with Khmer and Plagueis. So that's my comic series. A book, I think a Mortis book would be pretty sweet. Kind of deep dive backstory on the father, son, and the daughter, and the banishment of Abeloth. I think that'd be a super interesting book to read, and I'd want to pick that up for sure. And then another book that's just titled Finn. And it's a book, believe it or not, following Finn after the events of Rise of Skywalker, which I can't believe I'm even going to this place because, But it's kind of an alternate from the storyline we got. He continues down the Jedi path that he briefly started in Force Awakens, and then they just totally abandoned. And he and Rey kind of study the Jedi text together, going on. He finds a connection with Mace Windu's Force Ghost, only to find out they're related. Just kidding. No, but he has some connection with some. It could be Qui-Gon. It could be Qui-Gon. One of the prequel Jedis, and they each kind of go down their own path. So Rey's obviously much farther ahead, and she's going to be communicating with Ben and Luke's Force Ghost. Finn's going down his own thing, and we kind of see a side of the Jedi trials and teachings that we've seen before. We can still have a overall villain somewhere in there that can help through this as well. Maybe Thrawn is still somewhat involved, or maybe go with a new original character. But I want to see Finn's chance at a Jedi path there, so we'll go with Finn. Can't believe I did Rise of Skywalker and the Acolyte spinoffs, but here we are.
That's crazy.
You're just trying to fix things. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're being a good guy.
My Q points are down among certain demographics, so I'm trying to just climb those charts. I think the Mace Windu joke helped.
I love the Kamir idea. I'm curious to see where he pops up, if Tenebris is still alive with Kamir, if he's like training him in secret and hiding it from Tenebris, or what exactly is going on there, or if he's already killed him at that point and like he just hasn't found his replacement yet, so he's kind of a stopgap until
Palpatine
until he picks up Palpatine. Yeah. So that is.
Yeah, and I hate that I'm like asking for more of this, because I just as easily would be like, let's forget it ever happened and run far, far away from that point. But they had to kind of itch that little curiosity in my brain about Kamir now, and now I'm curious. So yeah, but that's the only time I want to see that continued. I don't want a season 2. I don't trust the showrunners, but I'll read a book. All right, let's get into series. So we got 3 TV series. I feel a little bit better about this category of mine, but how about we start off, JD? Why don't you go ahead and lead us off? We're doing our 3 TV series.
All right. One of mine is same as Cody, just Old Republic. Do your Jedi Sith War. Make it clear to the audience the transition between the Old Republic and the New Republic. All right, that'll be your climactic win.
Or High Republic.
And, yes. Good call. A lot of political intrigue and lightsabers and twists and turns and backstabbing. Right, Game of Thrones. Let's go. That's pretty simple. Then I want Mandalorian Wars. Go back to that. The big wars we're talking about with the Mask of Mandalore being lost. Very gritty Rogue One style. Tons of Mandalorians, like way heavier on the action and item exploration. But I also want like the grittier Mandalorians, like the way the stormtroopers looked when we saw that Force Awakens trailer, and they're like dirty and all this stuff. It just looks so cool. And then Rogue One, you see that a lot. So there's a ton of history there. Jedi and Sith were heavily involved in those wars as well. So you're going to have lightsabers there too. But maybe here when they show up, they could be more like the gods in that movie Immortals. When they show down, man, things are all slow motion. They were just studs. So if the Jedis do show up, I want it to feel pretty legendary. And what else I got? Oh yeah, and then just Order 66, Vader, Purge. Ooh. That's all you need. You can do just any voice, anyone in that. Order 66. So this is just him hunting down Jedis. I want to make that guy that almost killed him in Charles Soule's comic like kind of the main villain there for him, the main antithesis anyway. Maybe he's more protagonist.
No, I was just asking if it was just one. Like, were you going to do like just a mini series of Order 66 there?
Yep, one little season of just Vader action, everything we've always wanted for a whole series.
Or what if you were following a different Jedi every episode?
Yeah.
And
like Vader still popped up and killed each
every
one.
Episode ends in Order 66.
Yeah, that'd be sick. That's the one I have least notes on, just Vader, Order 66. Let's go.
Yeah, that's all you really need. That sounds wonderful. By the way, quick shout outs in the chat. Galactic Core Podcast, aka Andy, says, how is there a Star Wars conversation going on and I'm not involved? Good to see you all, boys. Sorry, Andy.
My bad, Andy.
And Cody's our Star Wars aficionado here, so you're gonna have to fight him, lightsaber duel most likely in the street. We'll record it. Whoever wins is on the next Star Wars episode. He also says Padme as responsible for Anakin's downfall as much as the Jedi Order is. What's homeboy McGillicuddy in Game of Thrones say? Love is the death of duty. Yeah. Boom, right there. Well, there you go.
No, I think it's all those outfits she was wearing.
Well, yeah.
How could Anakin not?
Guys in Italy at Lake Como, and she's wearing that with a pair. It's like, what are we doing here, man? Come on. And then we got Prince Hulk in the chat saying he misses the expanded universe. Prince Hulk, thank you for joining us, and I agree. I think we all miss that expanded universe a little bit, so let's bring it back, which is what we're doing here today, kind of, in a way. Okay, so I'll rock into the series next. So I've got and I swear I'm trying to get away from this era, but we're still here. The Rise of Palpatine. We're going to follow a teenage Palpatine going through the years as he murders his own family, and Plagueis discovers him. It'd be a mystery / kind of political thriller, because obviously he's rising in politics as well, and we'd really see how crude and just weaselly and everything about Palpatine and see how he got to be where he was. Another show I'd like to do.
Tom Hiddleston.
He could. He weirdly looks like him. I don't know if he's got the range to pull off the evil. I mean, he's in a couple stuff where I didn't think he'd have the range. Devil All the Time, I think, is one of them. He plays this Southern kid, and he does a pretty solid job in it. And I would have never guessed he could pull off that Southern of a character. So maybe he could do a Palpatine. You know, we get somebody in there.
50, right?
Palpatine.
No, Hiddleston.
Oh no, Tom Holland.
I said,
did you say Hiddleston? Oh my
did,
God, my brain heard Holland. Wow. Okay,
yeah, I was like, you can do the range of a bad guy. I was like, wait, he's hooking.
Actually, Tom Hiddleston did a Southern accent in a role kind of like Tom Holland's too. But yeah, Hiddleston would work. You could do Timothy Chalamet, a little creepy Palpatine, skinny face.
I was thinking like Austin Butler.
Ooh.
Yeah, you could do that too. I think there's a few good young stars who could play some young Palpatine. Yeah, Hiddleston might be outaged. And then next series, Jade, following Mara Jade through her time as the Emperor's Hand. Yeah. First season, starting with her as an assassin of his, just starting to train in the Force, and the Emperor dying at the end of the first season with the Empire collapsing. So the first season culminates with her joining Talon Karrde after the fall of the Empire, and season 2 would involve her having to work with Luke, and Thrawn again being one of the main villains of the show. Kind of jumping into where we see them at in Heir to the Empire. So I think Mara Jade is a dope character. Really dope. I think she'd be awesome to see in live action. And then my last series is Star Wars What If, but the right way. Do a Star Wars What If show, but actual what if, concepts that people would like to see. Like, what if Obi-Wan died and Qui-Gon survived in Phantom Menace? What if both Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon died and Palpatine got Anakin all to himself as a child? No diddy. What if Vader found Luke on Tatooine and raised him in the Sith ways before, and took out Uncle Owen, and he actually had a young Luke and was training him through? What if Palpatine never returned? A lot of stuff like that. But seriously, there's so many what if possibilities out there for Star Wars that would be so sick to see, and we'd never actually see the good stuff. So that's my last wish for the series. Cody, what do you got for us?
Dang, dude, we're on the same wavelength right here, because my first series is The Adventures of Luke and Mara, which takes place right after your series ends.
Oh,
and,
all right,
it is almost like a crime fighting duo. They're like, it's smaller episodes. Each one they're kind of going through and solving little crimes and mysteries throughout the galaxy as basically the two lone Jedi. So yeah, that was my first series.
Okay.
I started reading a lot more Mara lately, and I'm a huge fan. I don't know if you guys know about like the Outbound Flight stuff. It was kind of a big mission back in the day. Anyways, they have to, this whole, multiple giant, craft go missing basically, as far as Luke knows, and then it gets discovered by the Chiss. And so Luke and Mara, like the book I just read, they have to go check it out, figure out what happened with it. So that's a really cool book, and that kind of got me interested in like the Luke and Mara dynamic of them traveling the galaxy together and kind of solving crimes like a pair of detectives. So I like that idea.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a good cop, bad cop kind of thing. My second one was a what if series. So
what the hell, Cody?
Yeah, no, I know. As soon as you started talking, I was like, damn it, Dave. Yeah, all the same what ifs you had, but I think a what if would be super cool. As long as they don't do it the way that Marvel has done it, because I'm not really a fan. And that can all be animated. I'm fine with that, but give me something a little more substantial, not anyways.
Captain Carter series.
Yeah, not a Captain Carter series. That would be great.
Sweet. Let's use our imagination. or just make a story about Captain Carter. All right, cool.
And then my last one was actually similar to JD. Was the Life of a Jedi or Life of a Sith. Have a one episode backstory on a bunch of different Jedi, a bunch of different Sith, but really like focusing on them getting brought into the temple, showing their training. If it's a Sith, what Sith lore do they fall under? How do they join the Rule of Two, or if it's even pre-Rule of Two? How do they training, getting brought up in the Sith Academy, kind of like Bane-esque, showing their whole backstory and how they got involved. So yeah, I was really excited for a little deep dive into some Jedi. I'd love to see like some Yoda stuff, Mace Windu, kind of, but more obscure characters too. We can get some Shak Ti or Ki-Adi-Mundi. Plo Koon. Yeah, let's go.
Action. Yeah. Jar Jar.
Yeah, Darth Jar Jar, how he joined the ranks of the Sith. Yeah.
I see those big ears flapping. Yeah, I like it. I don't think you can go wrong by diving more into Jedi and Sith paths. Like, I really don't, unless, well, the Acolyte kind of did. But it's very hard to go wrong doing something like that and not to, get some good audience reaction. So I like it. That leaves us with our movies. So we've got 3 movies each. Oh, no, Lub, you're good. You're good. We talked about it earlier. The people are fine. All right, Lub, what 3 series you got?
No one said Star Wars Underworld, which I'm surprised, which will be a gritty grime drama on the lower levels of Coruscant.
Gritty grime. I love gritty grime. It's my favorite type of genre.
Gritty crime. Smugglers, bounty hunters, syndicates like the Black Sun and Crimson Dawn. No Jedi. It'd be more of like an Andor-style story,
Okay.
Then we have the Night Sisters. Get like a horror-style show on Dathomir with the Night Sisters, going up the ranks, the Academy, whatever they're doing over there, dark magic.
Okay.
Definitely have some betrayal. And then I slightly cheated with the last one, and also JD, you kind of blew your load on the Old Republic series. Those should be freaking movies, okay?
I got you, bro.
Whoa.
But I want 3 shows set in the Old Republic. I want the Sith Academy, the Mandalorians, and the Jedi. And then those 3 separate stories
that
will
is
lead
so good
to the movies coming in my next section. But
that is so
right.
good.
You did.
You
cheat.
want like
you win.
I did cheat.
Well, that's like
I want like
idea.
a Mandoverse / Marvel style story, but done better in the Old Republic, where we're
and like the historical stuff, right? Like back in the big wars with all them.
right.
They had the Mandalorian Wars.
Let's see, the Great Sith War in like 4000 BBY. The Mandalorian Wars. I'm just saying
I hear
history.
We've got some
This is all
movies
just
coming
real
up. I have a
stuff going on.
bad feeling we're all going to have very similar movie.
No, I
ideas
don't
here.
actually have an Old Republic movie, but I give it some credence, some kind of word, Cody.
Yeah, Creed, great band.
Yeah,
Arms
that's
Wide
a
Open.
word.
Some kind of credit. No, I don't know.
Arms wide open.
That has been in a dictionary. I'll take it.
Okay, all right. So Lub, not bad. Kind of cheated, but I like it. I'm here for it. And that's a dope idea. The culmination of the 3 different stories of this crazy historical period of time, and then having one collab movie or series. Yeah.
Dope. And is that all Old Republic when those wars took place?
Yeah.
All of those wars. Gotcha.
Yeah. Because it was Old Republic for like
1,000
3,000 years
Yeah,
or 2,000 years or something like that, and then it was pretty boring for about 1,000 years. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the movies. Lub, I don't think I've started off. Have I started off a category with you yet? Okay, and since I kind of accidentally skipped you there, I'm afraid to do this because I feel like we've got a similar movie. But go ahead, Caleb. Give us your 3 movies. What do we got?
Well, mine's simple and it won't be this similar because we're doing a trilogy and it's the Broom Boys saga.
Oh, thank God.
No, I'm kidding. That was a joke. It's not my movie. Well, I'll just do my Old Republic ones first, and JD already stole one, so my TV shows will culminate with the Mandalorian Wars, and that does have the
Okay.
Mandalorian, the Jedi,
There it is.
and the Sith. And then the second movie in the Old Republic will be the Great Sith War, where it's the Sith and the Jedi against each other. That'll be kind of like the Avengers Endgame of it.
That was my prologue. I had it in my notes and never said it for my Mandalorian Wars show. Nice prologue, the Great Sith War. So I got 10 minutes on that.
So
You got a
sick.
movie that's better.
And then I just have one that's set like 1,000 years after Rise of Skywalker. Maybe someone finds like ancient Jedi texts from a long dead religion of wizards no one knows about. Like the Jedi haven't existed for 500 years maybe or something, and some random person, maybe like a 16-year-old boy, comes across these ancient Jedi texts, and there still has to be some type of empire-like establishment in charge. You know, obviously the bad guys are ruling the galaxy, and there's just this random kid comes across some maybe Luke Skywalker holocron from 1,000 years ago. Be cool.
All right, get us out of the Skywalker era. A little fresh start.
But
Except
Luke's
still dealing with Luke Skywalker as the main
holocron, though.
character.
What's the holocron?
Star Wars is the
Ghost there the whole
Skywalkers,
time.
dude. You got to at least pay your credence.
Yeah, for real though, it is. It's kind of that base. I don't know. I think it makes sense.
If that's
Okay.
still the wrong word.
We'll just keep using it, and one of the times it's going to be correct.
I'm looking it up now. We're sure
Okay.
that's not a band.
No, I already cracked that joke. You're about 3 minutes late there, sir. I'll sing it again. All right, I've got a trilogy here. It's a trilogy. It's not standalones. It's a trilogy about a butcher, about a dark knight of the Sith, and a prodigal knight. But it's only one person, and that person is Revan. We're doing a Revan trilogy. You said we couldn't do Bane. You didn't say anything about Revan. We're doing a Revan trilogy. First movie kicks off. He's studying under the Jedi Masters, befriends a young fellow Jedi Padawan named Alec. We'll see them both grow up, advance the ranks, see Revan steadily getting more upset with the Order and their lack of action in the wars. Second act, he's going to find his Mandalorian mask and leave to join the Republic's army in the war. Revan will have defeated Mandalore the Ultimate at the Battle of Malachor 5. Revan and Alec, now going by Malak, will follow a trail, discover the Sith Empire, and the end of the movie has them being twisted by the dark side and the Emperor, and them breaking away to form their own Sith Empire at the end of the first movie. Second movie is going to be Revan and Malak waging war on the Republic in the first act with their Sith Empire, and Malak betraying Revan at the end, with Bastilla Shan appearing to rescue Revan. Going to skip ahead in time after Revan's mind wiped and get some Jedi Padawan training. Malak captures Shan. Revan's mind's awakened. Third act is the showdown between Revan and Malak. Malak's defeated. Revan becomes a prodigal knight. Movie ends with Revan and Bastilla getting married, but Revan's mind is starting to crack. And then the third movie opens up with Revan and his wife about to have a baby, but Revan's mind is fractured. He leaves to go find answers. He's captured by the Sith, tortured by the Emperor. He goes off, finds his own cult of Revan during the second act, leads an attack against the Empire, goes off in his crazy way in his story there where he tries to revive the Emperor back into physical form just so he can fully kill him again. And he's just kind of lost his mind at this point. But the movie ends with him being defeated, but his spirit splitting to help the Republic defeat the Empire for good. And we have a little tease at the end of a young woman, the daughter of Bastilla and Revan, Satil Shan, hinting at a possible next trilogy featuring her, the daughter of Revan, leading the way. Gimme Revan. That's my roadmap for Revan. Thank you.
I got
Take
literal
questions later.
goosebumps. Literal goosebumps.
It's just so easy. Just do a Revan story, man. Nobody is gonna balk at that. Nobody is gonna complain, man. We just want to see it. It's such a badass story.
Underrated book, by the way, too.
It's a good
One
Yeah.
of my favorites.
Yep. Like the guy was a Jedi, became the Sith, back to a Jedi, became one with the Force. Crazy
Mandalorian.
wars he was involved in. Yeah, bro. Like he's insane. So you got to give Revan a project.
We barely mentioned it, too, but Darth Bane was off the list for us to use, y'all. If you're listening and you're like, what the heck? Obviously, a Darth Bane trilogy is like the peak of what you could possibly do. Just such a cinematic story. Anyway, couldn't do it.
Also, Cody, if you do have a Bane thing, I don't think I remember to even mention that to you. So, I'm not going to hold it against you.
No. That's fine.
All right. JD, give us your movies. What do we got?
All right. I'm doing because I did my Old Republic in this series, like all that stuff. Sorry,
Kidding.
love. My trilogy is Yoda. So give me Yoda's rise, giving me his training, and also, so I want a rogue fallen Jedi to be kind of the main villain. I do want some Mandalorian warlord kind of there, making chaos. As the main villain, we don't hear his name much. We don't hear anything about the rule of two either. Let's trust the audience and assume they're smart enough to know that there's another Sith lurking in the shadows, because we have a Sith right here on screen. Last stop in the movie is finding an important holocron, which they've been looking throughout. Like, I want a little bit of a national treasure vibe. Mentioned that recently, just like finding these Sith artifacts, which can tie into the shows we saw, little Easter egg connections. And that holocron they finally find at the end is Darth Bane's. So we're going to learn about Darth Bane, but someone is already there using this holocron, and that is Darth Zana. So we end with Bane's apprentice. Because the timelines match up, Yoda's a Padawan in the 860 to 850 BBY, and at that time, Zana is like a top Sith. So she'll be the villain in number 2, super wicked, powerful, which equally kind of unique for Star Wars. Very different feel for a Sith, like a witch kind of thing, because she's horrid, like scary in the books. Scary.
She has some
stuff.
weird powers.
Yes.
She's terrifying.
So we're dealing with her in movie 2. A lot of Bane lore you could dive into. But her apprentice, the rogue Jedi, had been put in the prison at the end of the first one. But then at the end of the first one, you're going to get a tease where he's like meditating, doing some weird shit, powering up or something. We learn more about their relationship in 2. He accuses her of being too rash, emotional, violent, thinking small. He wants to be a Sith, like in the big ways, right? In the with the politics and the manipulation on a much larger scale. And he's going to end up killing Darth Zana at the end. We're going to find out it's Darth Tenebris, and Tenebris is the main villain of the third one, and probably Plagueis is teased by the end of that one.
Okay.
That's it.
I like it.
I like it.
And then Yoda throughout. We're following Yoda, so we actually
I
see
kind of forgot
Yoda
about
in his,
that.
Yoda in his prime, rise in the ranks. He's on the council by the end of this. But Darth Zana, that's my wild card. I think
that
she'd be
balances out a
awesome.
lot, because Yoda, at a lot of his points, it's a slower, paced style probably, but then you've got the Darth Zana coming in there too, and it's a nice little balance of the two sides, but you're getting more information and backstory on Yoda and whatnot. That would be dope. I like it.
And there'd be a Darth Bane cameo somewhere in the trilogy.
No, he's dead, bro.
Well, he's dead, but
He's a legend.
Come
Oh
on.
yeah,
holocron or something, yeah,
Or like
yeah.
a dream or something. Come on.
Well, and they kind of hinted at, which spoiler alert out there, if you haven't read
yeah.
the books, go ahead and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, just skip ahead 15 seconds. We won't talk about it much, but they do tease that Bane embodies Zana's body at the very end of the book there.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of is still attached a little bit. So you could have like nightmares where she's waking up and talking to him or something like that, because he's kind of in her body in a way. So that would be really cool,
Or
actually.
the voice inside her head.
Right. Something crazy.
Oh, I like that a lot. I just
All
like
right.
the whole-
Well, Cody, let's see what you got. Bring us home here. Give us your movie ideas for Star Wars.
I wrestled with this quite a bit, and mostly because I want to get out of the eras that we're in, and I'm really interested in the Old Republic, High Republic stuff. But my first one is all three of mine are going to be book adaptations made into movies. My favorite books that I've read so far. Number one being the first iteration of Thrawn. So where we find Thrawn and his first adventure with Anakin as Anakin Skywalker. How they have to, I don't want to give away too much because it's already in a book, but their whole mission, traveling to planets, and then we get a little fast forward jump ahead where he, it's like a two-parter, where he goes on another mission later with Vader, and he starts to put those pieces together.
Cool.
Kind of teases, whether or not he actually figures out who Vader is. So I think that would be the backstory of Thrawn is really interesting to me. I'd really like to see more about, we've gotten Thrawn on screen now, but it's older Thrawn coming back from the galaxy
And
instead of
he's mysterious too. Yeah.
right. And so I'd like to kind of adventure into that more and learn more about the Thrawn past and how he really became the genius mastermind that he is. Very strategic, very, you know, aware of all things, and how he really, you know, dives into backstories and culture and art and stuff, and where he gets that from. My next one is Mace Windu Shatterpoint. This, I don't know if you guys have read Shatterpoint.
I haven't.
I've read of it.
It's dude, it gets pretty wild. And I think it really displays. He goes on a little mission with Depa Balaba, and it really shows his attachment to the Force and his cunning as a younger Jedi warrior. And again, it really goes into depth too about his fighting style and his use of the dark side of the Force to be able to, you know, become basically an unstoppable fighter. And that's a really fun story. So I'd love to get some more Mace Windu. You know, he's only on screen for a few scenes, honestly. You know, he gets to kill a Mandalorian and then almost kill an Emperor. So, you know, he does two like incredibly cool things on screen, and that's pretty much it. And you just see him being an asshole on the council the rest of the time. So I want to see how he gets to that point, you know, how he, you know, a little bit of his backstory. And then my last book, probably, I don't know. I would say it's in my top 5, and that's Dark Disciple. Dark Disciple. Yeah, it was originally supposed to be a Clone Wars,
like 8-episode arc.
Yeah, like an 8-episode arc. And this was, you know, partially written by Katie Lucas. She was involved in this. So
wow.
I don't know if you guys have read Dark Disciple. It's about Quinlan Vos and Asajj Ventress.
So good.
And like it probably the one time in Star Wars, like listening to an audiobook where I legit teared up. Like it was heartbreaking, you know. It was a tough read, and I just think that it was so beautifully done. And man, Asajj Ventress, you know, through Clone Wars and into some of the Tales stuff, has become one of my favorite characters. I named my cat after her. So
Asajj or Ventress? Which one?
Both. It's Asajj Ventress.
Oh, it's full name. I like it.
Full name. Yeah. We call her Venny, but you know, Asajj Ventress is she's such a dynamic and really complex character. You know, again, that very similar to Revan, kind of bouncing between the light and dark, not sure where she belongs. You know, some of her time, especially with the Dark Disciple book, you know, running with Boba Fett and the gang, you know, some of the bounty hunters and stuff. And then Quinlan Vos, I mean, he's got no love, man. You know, we barely gotten any Quinlan stuff, and it's mostly just like a couple episodes here and there in Clone Wars. So I would love to see Quinlan on screen. I think he's a really cool character. He has a pretty crazy character arc in Dark Disciple. Kind of similar thing, bouncing between the light and the dark.
Yeah, Revan.
Just like Revan. And so, you know, it's a very dynamic book, and it's, you know, I think it's just, as far as Star Wars like writing goes, it's top tier for me. So that's my number one, would be Dark Disciple.
I would love to see Asajj Ventress in live action and Quinlan Vos both. But I think
Dooku,
such a cool character. Yeah, Dooku's in it too, pretty heavily. Asajj was almost in Attack of the Clones, I believe. She was like, they have not set photos, but like concept art of Asajj Ventress, and she was about to be in it. And then I think they put in Dooku instead. And that's how Dooku came into the whole Star Wars universe. So we almost didn't get Dooku. We only would have gotten Asajj, which I'm glad, but I would love to see Asajj and Chris. Yeah. You can't turn down Christopher Lee and Dooku. But I would love to see Asajj being brought into the big screen there, or the small screen too. And real quick, shout out to Crystal Jackson in the chat. Just ordered Darth Plagueis book. Can't wait to read it. So another great book, which would be awesome to see brought to the screen too. Somewhat what I was talking about my series, not exactly a Plagueis book series, but obviously getting young Palpatine and being able to see him in that book, and Tenebris and Plagueis' entire deal on the life essence transfer and everything, just super interesting, political, all that stuff. So it's a great book out there. Crystal Jackson, definitely enjoy that one. Yeah, well, I like it. I think I would be more excited with any of our 4 lists than what we have now, and I'm not trying to be super pessimistic, but I think all of those lineups would be more interesting than what we have ahead of us at this point in Star Wars. So maybe after we get past this Mandalorian and Grogu and the Rey thing, maybe we stick around with the Rey thing, but maybe we'll one day get some of these stories we're talking about here, get a cool What If, get some cool Old Republic stuff. Again, some backstory on Mace and Asajj would be dope, but I just think there's so much Star Wars content to tackle, and they just keep it in such a small-minded box, it seems. So
they can't even get the Knights of the Old Republic remake video game out. Like,
oh my gosh,
what are we doing here?
Frustrating, dude. They teased that like 3 different times, and every time it got shelved somehow. So,
or a new company took it on. It's just the easiest game to make too. Remake. It's already there. Just remake it.
It's there. Like, yeah, I will play that just remastered, even if it's not a full remake, dude. Touch it up a bit and I'll play it. So, yeah, I don't know. It's frustrating.
Imagine Old Republic video gaming with the Fallen Order quality. Oh my god, dude.
Would be so
Fallen Jedi, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Now I'm stuck for like going on YouTube and watching old cutscenes, and I'm like, oh man, I remember the good old days.
Trailers.
Oh, yeah.
The Old Republic, which that game was pretty fun too. I played that a little bit. But yeah, just bring us some Old Republic stuff, man. We want to watch it. So please, if you're listening out there, Kathleen or whoever your replacement is, which we keep saying she's going to be replaced, but she's.
I feel like it's coming soon. I mean, I'm just retire. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Go retire, please. Yeah, you're being retired. You guys talked about on your last Week in Geek the Star Wars Starfighter. Looking at a couple of the set photos and reading into it a little more, watching the cast, Mia Goth, Amy Adams, along with Gosling and stuff. And what's his name? Matt Smith. Yeah. Dude, I'm pretty excited for this movie, to be honest. Like,
yeah.
It seems like they pushed out the date far enough, and they've, the cast looks great. The set photo itself, with Gosling and whatever the little kid's name is. Yeah. I think, for as far out as it is and how long they're going to take for, filming and development, this might be a pretty solid movie. And I can't say that I'm excited for a lot. I'm not a big Mandalorian Grogu guy. I mean, I enjoy them. They're very fun to watch. I think it's good Star Wars, especially for like all ages kind of thing. I think it's a little too cute for me. I'm more Andor style. I think that's why I read a lot more books than I do like actually watch things. But I was going through this entire like TV show release date, movie release date list, and I don't know, man. like in development, presumed canceled, actually canceled. Like, it's so hard to tell what they're even doing.
I know.
And that's what really pisses me off. It's like, I love that we can sit and talk about these things, like stuff we would love to see, like actually get fans out here, like expressing interest and stuff, because, the stuff that they're giving us is not what fans want. And I feel like you can't let the fans completely decide, because, we'll get, 4 Bane movies and 8 Vader series, but at some point you kind of got to give the people what they want. And it's like, Dawn of the Jedi, it might be cool. It's based off of like a comic book run from 2015 or something, and it might be a good one. Like
but no one's asking for it.
But no one's asking for this stuff, man. Like, nobody's asking for this stuff. So yeah, like Starfighter probably going to be pretty cool. I'm excited for it, but the rest of it, like, whatever.
I'm getting annoyed. I'm getting annoyed at the best Star Wars out now not being Jedi and Sith oriented, no lightsabers. It's like, it's great that Andor's cool. it's great that Starfighter I think is going to be cool. Like when we like you got the F1 and Top Gun Maverick choreographer.
Oh, it's
Right.
so
I mean, like there's nothing but greatness coming out of that probably, but it's just kind of annoying that you have such a rich history of Sith and Jedi.
Right.
And like the best Star Wars stuff is just not that. You compare it to Alien Earth, their best stuff now, in my opinion, is not the aliens killing people. It's like the characters, the discussion, the people, the cyborgs, but that's committing to adults. And I feel like Star Wars fans the OG fans are never gonna get younger, man. Just gonna get older. So you really got to commit. You don't have to go rated R, man, but you got to give us a little. You got to get a little heavier, and you just have such a dark, action-packed history with the Jedi and the Sith, Mandalorians. It's like, what are you doing? Like you said, give us what you want. You might make money if you give us what we want.
And it seems like they're scared. You know, they're like
seems
really
like they're scared to go there
because
for some reason.
I mean I think that's why they're kind of going like away. Like, okay, this is all future stuff because they don't want to touch the past and ruin it. You know, I think that's the big thing. It's like, you know, they may have taken George Lucas's idea and like expanded on it, but they haven't given it any real like gumption. You know, they haven't given it any good backstory. There's nothing in the past. And so I feel like that's their big downfall, is that they're so scared to touch that older stuff. So some of these canon or legends books that they're just terrified, man. And it's kind of, you know, you got to take some risks. Like I don't think doing the Rey stuff was a risk. I think it was just like, hey, could be good, could be bad. Doesn't matter. Doesn't, you know, it's
Don't you think if Christopher Nolan was offered a Star Wars movie, he would take it? I mean, he would do it, right? Or would we
maybe he may be too tied down with, you know, I mean, he did Batman, which was a big step because he usually only does kind of like, and he's doing Odysseus, which obviously has some source material that he has to be tied down to as well. So maybe he would. Yeah.
It seems like a no-brainer, especially for his legacy. He's done it kind of all. Give him a Star Wars movie, dude, and he's like the greatest ever, because no one's going to think that's going to be bad. Plus, he's the perfect fit for a Darth Bane kind of story or any Old Republic kind of story. Right. You had Benioff and Wise attached to a project, dude. That got you hyped. That is the Game of Thrones people.
Kind of.
Yeah. I think it should have gotten people hyped, but I think more, I don't know. I was a little nervous after what I saw with how Game of Thrones ended, and then I started seeing them in other projects
way more on HBO.
Where it wasn't great, and it was like,
but HBO
offered them. They said you can have all the seasons you want. They said, "No, we're going to wrap it up this way." They chose to do that and to bail early to get to their Star Wars project, so that wasn't a great. I don't know.
Right. But the only thing about it is studio interference interrupted something about them. Everything before it went to HBO, I mean, they were perfect, pretty much. Yeah. For whatever reason, they decided
not
to continue.
It was everything that they had source material for.
Right.
Once the books ran out, things went sideways.
Oh, yeah. So it's kind of George Martin's fault.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course it is. You know?
Star Wars doesn't have that problem. They have the source material. It's all finished. It's all hundreds.
They could do the older
80s. Like you have material, man. Like you've got books from the 80s, 90s, like early 2000s that are terrific. So if you wanted source material and you could run it that way, I mean, pick a chunk. Like there's so much.
And you're saying that, and the current president came out and said, well, there's just not a lot of source material to go off of for future projects. And it's like, what? What are you talking about? There's like 90 books out there, dude. Like,
like right behind Marvel and DC with the most source material available to you.
Yeah, literally a century worth of movies of source material, but I digress.
There's like 100 books, not even counting comics, like actual novels. Like there's so much, and there's so many of these just fantastic writers. You know, James Luceno is incredible. Drew Karpyshyn, Timothy Zahn. Yeah, Timothy Zahn. Any Timothy Zahn, especially his Thrawn stuff. Like, come on, it's not that hard. It's really not that hard.
Yeah. So we'll send this episode to Kathleen. We'll get it to her people. We'll see what they say, and we'll let the chat know what Star Wars says about taking our ideas. I think it would work out better for them. So, we'll see if they do that. But that'll wrap it up here for us. Thank you so much for joining us on this very special Star Wars episode. And of course, again, thank you to our special guest, Cody, who is becoming more and more a part of the podcast the more he joins. So be careful. Be careful. You keep joining these episodes here, you may be stuck.
He's pretty much a member. He's our Star Wars member.
I'm already here. Might as well.
Yeah, buckle up. You've got more memorabilia than I do, so maybe I get the boot. I don't know. But I will say this is the 4th room I have recorded in since I moved to this new house, and it was pretty smooth. So is it the room? Is Riverside just kind of donkey-ish?
The worst.
Now that we're off their platform? Yeah, they kind of suck.
I feel like I look better on StreamYard.
I think we're all looking better. Yeah,
I like the lights.
Delays. Ooh, look at that. That's a little much.
I like the red. The red's nice. Yeah, we'll keep the red.
Went to a hospital.
I can't see anymore. You flashbanged me.
But anyway, so we'll be on StreamYard going forward. We'll have these cool little backgrounds and all this good stuff. So give us your feedback. Let us know. Leave some comments. Tell us if we're wrong or right about these projects we want to see, or leave your ideas. Social media, leave us comments, send us some DMs, and we'll read it off on our next episode if you'd like. So, again, thank you for joining us. Thank you to the co-host, and we'll see you next time on Why So Sidious, a nerd podcast. I don't know how to stop.